Hey everybody, Gradigy here with another HeroClix review. I know it's been a little while since I did this. I think I skipped last week, and for good reason. It was finals week this week, so I was catching up on homework and junk like that. But I have a pretty good review, a set of figures that I really enjoy playing, even though they're a little cheesy because they're so good. I finally finished the set of the Warriors 3. Huzzah! This is where you all clap, so I'll just imagine I hear it. This is Fandral the Dashing, Volstagg the Voluminous, and Hogan the Grim. Also, he has Volstagg the Immense as well as a name. That's actually what they're referred to in the comics. So, I really like their sculpts. I mean, there's nothing, snazzy about them. They're just, I don't know, I think they're really well done sculpts. That one, of course, being the biggest one. They do all have no team abilities, of course, because I don't know what team ability they would have. They sort of do. Sometimes I like to think of their trait being a team ability. The trait that they have being that for every other Warriors or figure with Warriors 3 keyword on the field, they get a +1 to their attack. No requirement for line of sight or adjacency or anything like that. So it's sort of a team ability. I mean, it's active all the time. But, Warriors 3 team ability, go. They do add up to a perfect 300-point team, which I found fantastic. I've never actually seen them get beat. I've never heard of them being beat in a 300-point game, but I've not played against or with them frequently enough to have that on any kind of reliable information. But let's go ahead and dive right in. We'll go over Hogan the Grim. Probably one of my favorite of the three, just because he's got a lot of mobility without being overly complex. 10, 11, 18, 3 with Indomitable, 96 points. One of the cheaper Indomitables in the game with decent stats. Now, remember, since if you play a Warriors 3 team, he's got 13 attack, not 11. So, 96 points for 13 attack with Indomitable. Alright, I'll take that. He can charge for 5, do 3 damage. So, let's go ahead and click him a few times. Not too bad, doesn't change really except he loses an attack, but remember, that's still 12. Same. In that white box, he loses a defense and a movement, but that white box, he gets an extra damage for every action token he has on him. Whenever you give him a non-free action, he gets extra damage. So, if you were to have 2 tokens and get mind controlled, your opponent would not get the both tokens counted for damage. They errated that. It's on the HeroClix website. So, I thought that was kind of broken myself, because that means that this 96-point figure is swinging, 12 attack with 5 damage. Nothing big. Still charging for 5 because it's 9 and you round up. Loses his invulnerability and his charge, so, after that, he just kind of, he sags for a little bit, but nothing too serious. He's still totally usable for the rest of the dial. How many clicks is he? I think 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. So, 8 clicks, 96 points. Potential of, a lot of pain for 96 points. I've never played him and not gotten his points out of him. And then we have Fandral the Dashing. Excuse me. He's 9, 13, 18, 3 with Outwit, and the white box there is Leap, Climb, and Flurry. So that's pretty nice. Helps him get around quite a bit. He's totally lungeable. I know a lot of people, including myself, love that feat. So let's click him some. Loses an attack and Outwit, and a defense. So he drops a little bit harder than Hogan, but not much to that second click. He loses 1 movement, and then he loses damage reducers altogether and gets combat reflexes. So he's got a 19 up close, which of course is what you're going to want to keep him at. And hopefully you've already got him up close with his lead climb by that point. 2 damage with Blade's Claws, that's always, you know, opportune for Blade's Claws, at least 2, I like. Back to toughness, still pushing 12 attacks, so none of the Warriors 3, if you've got all 3 of them out there, ever did below 11, assuming you can keep him alive. He gets Outwit and 3 damage back, then he's back up to 7, 13, 15 with toughness and Outwit, so pretty fierce. And then Volstagg the Voluminous, his movement power, he's the only one that really lacks any amount of mobility, and you know that's understandable considering you know, he's the fattest one. His white box on movement is that he can't be knocked back, and opposing characters adjacent to him get a -1 to their breakaway rolls. So it's kind of hard to break away from him, and you can't force blast him away. So 8, 11 with super strength, 18, and 4. So with impervious, he's the only one that gets impervious too. And an easy way to remember his attack or his defense values and his powers. Well, I'll just show you real quick. And he only loses 1 movement, and that's it from his first to second click. And then he loses an attack. As long as he's got impervious, he's got 18 defense. As long as he's got invulnerability, he's got 17 defense and 3 damage. So 17 with invuln, 17 with invuln. It's kind of hard to turn. 17 with invuln, 16 with toughness, 16 with toughness, 16 with toughness. So as long as he's got impervious, he's got 18. As long as he's got invuln, he's got 17. As long as he has toughness, he's got 16. They all do a really nice amount of damage. Of course, Volstagg being the best of the 3 as far as damage output goes, just because of he's, you know, super rare. He is the hardest one to get out of the 3 of them. He does see the most amount of damage, although it is arguable that that Hogun can put out more than his fair share as well, since he is the only one with Indomitable. But then you can also argue that Fandral can do the most because he's got Blade's Claws or Outwit. So they're all really, really good. I can't really pick out the best of the 3. They just work really well together. Hogun or Fandral here gets into place with Lead Climb, outwits people. Hogun moves up pretty quickly, you know, moving at 10 move, and then next turn charging with no penalty like push or anything. And then you have your tank moving up in the back, hopefully packing a heavy object already. So they're just really nice figures. And I did notice one thing about them, and it's kind of hard to explain, but they can all potentially do 6 damage without needing to take push damage. And the way this is, and this is on their first 3 clicks, they can all potentially do 6 damage without without taking push. The reasoning behind this is he has Flurry with 3 damage and Outwit, so he's probably gonna push the most through on his 6 damage, but they can all potentially do it. So Flurry, hitting twice for 3 each, 6 damage. 4 damage with super strength if you pick up a heavy, that's 6 damage. And then he's the only one that it takes 2 turns to do it, but at least that means he can split his 6 damage between 2 people if need be. So of course he can too, but just not as easily, because he can smack him for 3 this turn, then charge over here and smack that guy for 3. So that's a pretty interesting little idea behind him. I don't know if they did that on purpose or if anyone else has noticed, but they all can do 6 potential damage without needing to take push. So they just have Asgardian Warrior and Warriors 3 as keywords. Really nice figs. I like all the Asgardian figures, but this is probably the favorite besides some others. So I like all of them. I can't pick. So there you have it. That's the Great Warriors 3. I hope you don't ever have to face them, because they're tough. So play on, guys.